Hi everyone, good morning. We're gonna do things a little different today because I am not at the greenhouse. I am at my house. I already went to the greenhouse today, watered, check on the chickens. Shout out to Paige Hill. She's gonna start taking Wednesdays for me. Whoop whoop. What I wanted to show you guys here, I got a lot of questions the first couple of videos about gardening and aloe plants and lavender, and so I just wanted to take a moment to talk about those things because I do have a little garden. This is my yard. I don't have a yard. I put all those rocks, we did the landscaping, I put all those rocks and mulch down here because my yard was a total mud pit. If I go over here to where I made my walkway, this is my little bird area, you see all that mud? That's what my yard looked like too. Now my yard doesn't look like that anymore because I went and collected these big rocks by that cliff on 17 where that netting is. That's where I picked them up at. I saw other people doing it, so I did it too. So that's my yard, hee. If you ever have problems with mud with drainage in your yard, mulch and rocks are the best way to fix that. But I had a couple questions. A lot of them was about gardening. So this is my garden. It is a 3x3 box that I built out of scrap lumber from Home Depot. And then I have a couple small pots. I have that pot, but it's empty. There will be stuff in it, but it's empty right now. And this is it. This is all I have. And we are experiencing some problems. So this is my broccoli. This is the biggest issue we're having right now is with my broccoli. So as you can see, it's not a good color. It's very dark. We want it to be really bright green. It is about to rain, so I'm gonna do this kind of quickly. I've already ripped off the kind of dead leaves. So the biggest problem right now is that these plants are not getting enough sun. It's just been raining so much, they're not getting enough. They're gonna start experiencing some root rot here if we don't help them out. And we're gonna give them a little extra shot of nutrients too, just because it is about to rain. So what I'm gonna give them, I use the same thing here that we use at the greenhouse. This Osmocote outdoor, indoor. The reason I use this is because it is a 19-6-12. 19-6-12. The numbers that we are interested in there is the nitrogen and the potassium. The 19 and the 12. This purpling is pretty characteristic of phosphorus, but what we're seeing with the purpling on broccolis is not because of a lack of phosphorus, it's because of a lack of sun. So these plants would be nice and bright green if they were getting enough sun, but they're not. I just sprinkle this around. All around. And these are the only plants that are having a problem in my garden right now are the broccoli. Everything else is fine. This is my asparagus. My asparagus is gorgeous. My asparagus is loving life. I have lots of different kinds of onions. These are red onions. This is just a white onion. These are bunching onions. I leave all my onions together. This stand will be for cucumbers when the weather warms up. It's still too cold for cucumbers yet. And I don't want them to freeze over. This little bucket, they just started sprouting because I just planted them a few days ago, about a week ago. Carrots, so we should still have some more carrots popping up here soon. I took some ugly marigolds from the greenhouse and I'm bringing them back to life. And yeah, that's all I have right now. We'll rotate stuff as the season goes through. So we'll do cucumbers first and then we'll do peas. We'll have some tomatoes again when it gets a little warmer out. But broccoli, asparagus, onions, and carrots, those are my colder weather vegetables. So I've put the fertilizer down because part of the problem is the sun. I'm gonna put some extra dry soil on top. Now, it is about to rain. I mean, I can feel it. It's going to rain. So I'm not gonna water this down too much. I'm just adding this to cover the fertilizer so that way none of the leaves end up touching it or anything. We're gonna use all of this here. Oops. spread that out nicely. And then this dry soil, I just want to build it up a little bit so it's not all that wet soil. We've got some dry soil here. That should help the plant out. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to add a thin layer of mulch. I'm cheap. I ain't going out to buy mulch. The company I rent my house from lays mulch out front for us. And so now I'm walking to my front yard, which isn't a yard either. Front of my house. Mulch. I'm literally just going to I'm not wearing any shoes. I'm just literally gonna scoop up mulch from up here. Hey, maybe if you know where that building is, you figure out where I live. So I have my mulch. Now hold my door. I have my mulch. I'm gonna do just like I did with my asparagus, and this is just gonna help with draining a little bit. See, I put mulch on my asparagus, and that's just because when I planted those asparagus, it was really cold out, and I really just did it as protection from cold. But now, I'm doing this with the broccoli to help with drainage, which is a little bit different, but it should help. This will slowly decompose also, and allow nutrients to leach into the soil as it breaks down. So not only will the fertilizer help with any additional nutrients, but this will as well. But the main reason for the new soil and for the mulch is for drainage, because they're just not getting enough sun. And this is the place where I get the most amount of sun. And it's not because they're in a bad spot in the yard, it's just because there hadn't been any sun out, and they're really just getting the minimum requirement of sunlight. They're really just getting that minimum 6 hours, which is not enough. So this is what it looks like now that it's done. I laid it, pretty haphazardly. We don't want to cover our stems too much because we want our stems still to get airflow. So I wanted to show you that next week. I'll update you on how those look. So for one of your questions, you're gonna have to describe how these look. So I'll give you this one. This is probably the best indicator because we're gonna compare them next week. So that's kind of what the leaves and stuff look like. So next week we'll compare them, see how they look. There's two other things I wanted to talk about today. Somebody asked a question about aloe. So I have an aloe plant too. As you can tell, it's very tiny, and there's a reason for that. We've just come out of winter. We're just now entering spring. Indoor plants, just like outdoor plants, go through dormancy. They can tell when it is wintertime. And when it's wintertime, they stop producing leaves. They'll kind of get a little ugly. I have taken off, as you can tell, one leaf here. And there was another big leaf right here, but as you can see, I got rid of that. So what we want to do is if our aloe plants aren't growing, we need to make sure we're pruning them after the winter is over. And then this summer, this plant will get really nice and big and full and pretty again. And then it'll happen all over. In the winter, it's going to get kind of ugly and droopy. The leaves are going to kind of fall off, but it's important to prune along with your plant. So this is completely how it should look right now. Mostly new growth. We have one old stem, but we want to focus on that new growth. We want to get rid of these old leaves so that way when the plant photosynthesizes, it's photosynthesizing on new growth. It's outside right now because yesterday the sun was out, and aloe likes a lot of sun. So make sure the aloe is getting a lot of sun. One of the other questions I had was about lavender. Planting lavender. Lavender's tough. I've never had an easy time with lavender. And so what I what I normally do is I germinate my seeds. And I germinate most of my seeds anyways, but this is my plate of lavender. All I've done is I've taken a paper towel and I've damped it. Not soaking wet, I have damped it. And I have put, here we go. I've put my lavender seeds on the wet paper towel on a plate, and then I fold my paper towel. And I just cover the seeds with a wet paper towel underneath and above it. And then I put the seeds in a dark spot. Seeds germinate in the soil usually. Lavender is tough. So I always start my lavender by germinating on a plate. Because that's easier. You can germinate any seeds like that. I'll probably start my cucumber like that as well. My broccoli started like that. It's not the best for everything, but if you're having a really tough time with certain plants growing by planting the seeds in the soil, try germinating them on a plate with wet paper towels. And then you have to wet that paper towel twice a day for about a week. And then the last thing I wanted to show you guys is my onion window. And this is something, so some of you asked how we could garden, learning about gardening and stuff. This is something easy I do. If you use green onions in the house or regular onions, do this. When you cut the green onions for cooking, all you have to do is stick the part that you don't use, this part with the roots, in a glass of water by the windowsill. And I grow my onions like these year round. Winter, fall, summer, spring, all year. My green onions grow in the winter like this. I haven't needed to buy green onions in like a year, for real. And I grow them on the windowsill. It's super easy. They grow great. And you can just cut them off when you need them to use them. And then put them right back in the water and they'll grow back again. That's my onion window. They're beautiful. If you guys have any questions about any of this stuff, just ask. I just wanted to show you this video to show you some cool stuff. Mostly we'll be focusing on the broccoli next week to see how much it improves or not, but it will improve. Okay? Can't go over 15 minutes. YouTube won't let me. Love you guys. Hope you have a good day. Do your worksheet with this. And I hope I see you soon. I won't see you soon, but I hope I do.